Guys, let's get into the burn book of it all. We, of course, have another episode of Heather giving a rehearsed, I don't even know my words, rehearsed monologue. And she's like, let's play a game. Find the worst thing we've said about someone at this table. Honestly, these housewives, they sure know how to play games. But of course, this is a show, guys. So, like, of course, they're going to play these games that end up causing so much drama. So, who goes first? We got Mary and Heather. So, let's discuss. Mary and Heather, anything Mary has been doing this season, it feels so heartfelt. It's not like gimmicky crap like some of the other women. It's truly, she's just living her life and it's heartfelt. And we don't have a lot of housewives like this across the franchise. Like, I think Jennifer Tilly is one of them. Like, she's just wealthy. She's enjoying her two houses beside each other and living her best life. And if she wants to film with the ladies and, add her thoughts, sure, but it's not like being on the show, not being on the show is going to make a difference in her life. Anyways, back to Mary and Heather. Mary's like, okay, I'll go first. She basically talks about Heather, and she's like, Heather has changed as she's gotten more successful. Now, when it comes to Heather, she left her husband and she opened up, what is it, Beauty Lip Lab Laser, and it does very well. And in one of the earlier seasons, we even saw her open up a second location. It's bigger, better, beautiful. It seems to do very well. And it seems like in Utah, Salt Lake City, there's a look that a lot of these women have. And that look, it is to enhance your features. So, with that being said, Heather definitely does quite well with the Beauty Lip Lab laser. And on top of that, Heather is a writer, darling. I can't remember. I think she was on the New York best list, all that good stuff. But basically, she's now writing books. She's doing well. She had Bad Mormon, and what was the second one? Good Time Girl. That was the second book. So she had Bad Mormon. It seems like it did well, and then she had Good Time Girl. So Heather is doing very well as a self-made woman. She's doing very well financially. She's taking care of her girls. Good, all that is good. But Mary is saying as Heather got more successful, it's definitely gone to her head. She doesn't appear to be grateful and she's becoming more mean. As Heather gets more famous, she's becoming more mean. And Mary's like happy and so proud of Heather, which I thought was so beautiful that Mary said that. I think it really touched Heather. It was like, oh my God, like I need to touch grass. And Heather cried and Mary, acknowledged it. Mary just feels heard, clean slate. Mary, Heather. It was a good start to this game, which we all knew was going to end up, into a shit show, but the start of it was great. All right, this one was so strange. Everything Brittany does, it's just like, what? What? All right, let's get into it. Brittany is like, I wrote something about Mary. Everyone's like, okay. Mary's like, okay. So Brittany hands over her phone. Mary reads whatever Brittany texted about Mary. Mary's like, or Mary's reading it, whatever Brittany said. I would like to invite Bronwyn over for tea instead of Mary tomorrow. And Mary just looks at her like, okay, that's great. Like we're not besties. Like, okay, you don't need to invite me over for tea. And Mary's confessional was so funny. She would rather have tea with Bronwyn than me. I agree. And then I think it was Bronwyn or someone that was like, well, when was this tea supposed to happen? Because, guys, I don't think this tea between Bronwyn and Brittany ended up happening. So, TBD, maybe next season, Bronwyn and Brittany will have tea together. All right, who do we have next? We have Bronwyn and Brittany. Guys, this one hurt. Like if you have a scab and that scab is not healed and then you like rip it open, ooh, that I feel like that's how it felt. So, Bronwyn reads a text that she sent about Brittany, and it basically said how Brittany is emotionally manipulative, parentifies children, trauma bonds in relationships. Bronwyn is basically embarrassed for her. Brittany is way too much and chaotic for Bronwyn, and how Bronwyn does this to the girls, and she's acting below her intelligence level and her age. There's a lot to unpack here. Brittany makes it appear as these women should care for whatever's going on in her life. The problem with Brittany is I don't know who are the people in your life to begin with. Like, does she have biological children? Does she have stepchildren? She showcased her dad to the women. That was beautiful. There's Jared in and out. Like, we don't care. Is he your man? Is he not your man? Okay, great. So Jared is present in your life in some way, shape, or form. But then she keeps talking about her daughter or daughters. It's all very confusing. Um, the parentifies children, I think that was kind of a big one. And then who are these children? I don't understand who these children are. Look, in the end, it seems like Bronwyn is sorry and she is open to her getting to know Brittany, the real Brittany, not this chaotic version that she keeps unleashing on these poor women. Moving on to Bronwyn and Angie. Ooh, this one was rough. So Angie wrote, Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan. Marrying a man who has one foot in the grave and one foot on a banana peel. That is rough. I mean, that's not about Bronwyn. That's directly about the Todd father. Now, why we got to bring the Todd father into this? But Angie's reads, they are lethal. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. And Angie and Sean, they met when they were young in their 20s. I can't remember if Angie was also a hairstylist. I guess she was. And then Sean was also a hairstylist. And now they have this uh, great business. What is it called? Lunatic Fringe. That's their hair salon. And they've also franchised it out. And they also teach. I guess they also teach, what do you call it? They teach people to, be hairstylists. Um, they have the courses. So that's great. Angie, Sean, self-made, they're doing well. Good for them. Let's continue. She's nice, but she doesn't listen because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight she can't hear anything. That was not nice about Bronwyn's look. She wears a hot dog outfit to remind us her way to the top. Wow, that was lethal. That was lethal. Look, Bronwyn cried. You could tell she was in pain reading this, but you got to give it to Bronwyn. Unlike Lisa later on, um, unlike Lisa and Whitney later on, Bronwyn and some of the other girls, they stuck to the game. If you can dish it, you can take it. And in this moment, Bronwyn took it. She took it. She was a big girl about it. Angie apologized, like, hey, I was mad at you at the moment. This is what I said. This is how I feel. Bronwyn acknowledged it. And now these two, they have a clean slate. All right, so the text, when it came to what Lisa wrote about Meredith, this was actually in the extended version. You could get it on Peacock and Hey You. So Lisa, she was telling the girls how this was before last year, before her and Meredith patched up their relationship. What was it? I think like season 2 or 3, where I think it was season 2, where Lisa said that horrible thing about that. Yeah, when she was like, going in between the door or whatever, and she said that horrible thing about Meredith, how she effed half of New York. Oof, that was awful. Anyway, so Meredith Marks, how Lisa's like how Meredith Marks, she digs up info and she weaponizes it. It's effing dirty and I don't like it. And Meredith Marks, she's like, I'm not surprised given last year. And in Angie's confessional, she's just like, really? You called her a garbage whore in that read Lisa had about Meredith. She called her a garbage whore. She effed half of New York. It was pretty bad. Um, and Angie's just like, you know what? Like, show us what's really on your phone. Like, come on, this cannot be the nastiest thing you said about Meredith. There has to be more. Guys, tune in to the next part and we will cover the Lisa, no, yeah, what is it? Lisa, Whitney, Angie meltdown.